Well, morning all. It is the 6th of October. Just gone 7 in the morning. Apart from the traffic roaring up and down. I live in rural Somerset. We're early risers. So this is all people going to work along the lane here. And I'm at work already because my season, as you may not know, finished it a week ago. But I have a bad habit of taking on extra commissions. So today's job is to cut 30 table centres out of nothing. Plenty of shrubs. I've got very few flowers. So a bit like when I ask you to go and do a 30 stem challenge, I'm really doing a 30 stem challenge today. I have apparently nothing in the garden and 600 stems to cut, and I need to have made these posies by 3 o'clock. It is 7 o'clock now because I'm doing a wreath demo, an autumn wreath demo online at 5. So I need to have finished doing all of this by 3 so that then I have time to prepare for my wreath demo at 5. Classic Georgie stuff. So marching about, shouting affirmations like, I'm going to be very fast. I can do it. I will do it. I'm up here. I'm going to start with foliage because it's very forgiving of being bruised in a very, very heavy dew. Now, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, press the bell icon, and I'll tell you when I've got more clips coming up. And if any of the tips and tricks I give you along the way are useful, you can always buy me a coffee, or better still, join my club. Links to coffee buying and club membership are in the blurb to all my clips. Come on, let's go. So as you know, I always take a job which seems overwhelming and cut it down into its constituent parts because then it makes it easier to achieve. So 600 stems, 30 posies. That's 20 stems per posy. And I don't think I've got masses of repeat of anything. However, if I cut in 30s and I have 20 varieties, that's 600 stems. So I can make very interesting small posies with one of each variety in each posy. So that's how I'm going to go in with this. So I'm cutting in 30s. I may get 60 dahlias, but I'm starting with the foliage because foliage really doesn't mind. It's very tough. So I can put it, it doesn't mind being cut wet. It doesn't mind being put in a bucket wet. It doesn't mind being a bit crowded wet. So we'll start with the foliage. We will end up with the flowers. So foliage first, flowers later. Cutting in 30s. Ready, steady, cut. Start with some lovely miscanthus. The variegated corners. I've been cutting this since. When did you first see me cutting this year? May? How useful is that? Small leafed variegated corners, not a fancy pants variety. Very useful cut. Still cutting the physocarpus. Great big bunches of it. At this time of year, cast about for unexpected bonuses. I did not sow this blonde fennel. It's just popped up and I will have it, thank you very much, for my posies. Veronicastrum seed heads are dramatic in winter floristry, and since we are the season just turns, let's have them. These stems of heleniums, I will probably get 30. You can see there's quite a lot of deadheading, but I can just pinch out the dead or even leave them. You know, this is autumn. Let's tell the story of what's actually happening in the garden. And I will admit, these heleniums have been standing here all summer. I've not cut a single stem. And here we are, mid-October, for autumnal table centres. Actually, they're singing a very strong song, as I always say. Look, whole patch of them. Let's cut them all. Sun's up, first trolley's full. Let's get back to the studio and swap round. It's very wet, so it's proper tuck your trousers into your socks weather, or your trousers will get very, very wet, even in short grass, quite quickly. And there is the site of the rare, very rare site of the lesser spotted Fabrizio Boccha cutting dahlias, while I work my way through the Verbena barnariensis and the Salvia uglinosa. Happy days. Who says there are no flowers in the garden? Go on, have a look. You never know what you'll find. And look, the bees are waking up. Morning. Morning, friend. Breakfast. Right, 9:25, nearly everything in. Fabrizio and Tilly Pops are just cutting the last of the dahlias very sparsely into buckets so they don't bruise. And I think we're going to get about 100, so that's good. I cut 30 more dahlias from the other patch, so between them, each posy can have 3 dahlias. That's my important number that I wanted. 9:30, so time for breakfast. Right, the dahlias are in. There's probably about 100 there. And I'm going to leave them in the trolley there, rather than every time I take them out of the trolley, I risk bruising them and bashing them, and they can just stay there. And then I'm going to put all the rest of the material along the table. And before I do anything else, I'm going to fill up the containers. Only 30. Right. Autumnal table centres incoming. Ready, steady, floristry o'clock. Now the first 12 I'm going to make are being along the main central table of the event. So they are going to have the big dahlias. Everything's got the same stem count, but the wow factor is I'm bringing the wow factor into the centre of the party, if you like, by putting the biggest dahlias in the middle. And as the centre of attention works its way away from that long central table, the flowers will not be less beautiful, but they will be more delicate. So that it's a bit like a flower. You have a big heavy centre and then more delicate edges. And that's how I'm going to work. So big fat posies first, and then we're going to get a little bit smaller. So I'll show you as I go along. Right, I've made the 12 posies, and I'm going to take a picture of them because they're very pretty. So these are the 12 posies, big fat posies. I put them in a circle on the floor because it always looks very attractive when I do this. I won't see them in place on account of it's a private event, but this gives you an idea. Imagine if they were long, stretched down a long table, they'd look really stunning. And now I'm going to make 18 small ones. So same stem count, exactly the same stem count, little, big, little, big. It just means that the bigger ones are going to be the wow factor down the middle table, and the little ones, same stem count, will draw away. So the point of the exercise is to have this central wow factor so that the attention of the room is on the central table. Right. That's 18 smaller posies ready to go out. They're very sweet. I love them massed on the floor like this. But of course they're going on tables at the party.